Hello, I'm Jeremy Castle,
And I'm Ryan Chambers,
and I'm an architecture director at State Farm.
and I'm a technology engineer.
And me and Ryan are here to talk about governance, compliance, and risk in the SDLC can be a fun event. We've been working on an eventing framework here at State Farm that we've instrumented and hooked into all our developer tools to try to achieve a little bit better transparency into the SDLC. It's going to allow us to build some automation on top of it. That's going to make for better governance, compliance, and managing our risk. So let's dive a little bit into the numbers behind the neighbors here at State Farm. So we're the number one leading auto and homeowner insurer in the United States. We have 85 million active policies and accounts so far. And then just in terms of size, we have about over 57,000 employees, and then we actually have over 19,000 independent agents all over the United States. And in addition to being the number one auto insurer and homeowner insurer, we're also the number two largest life insurer based on policies in force in the United States since 2016. So a little bit about the enterprise technology department here at State Farm. So we've got approximately 3,000, a little bit under 3,000 software infrastructure developers out of a total of 7,000 employees at enterprise technology as within our walls. With that, there's hundreds of technologies. So we have Java, mainframe, PL1, we have WAS, we have public cloud, we have just tons and tons and tons of technologies across all over the place. That makes for a complex environment. We have over 2,000 web applications that we host on these platforms. And those are spread out across 1,200 product teams across 15 different business areas that enterprise technology supports. So it's just a large, complex environment. With us being a financial institution, we obviously have a lot of regulatory things we have to do to maintain compliance. And that's really kind of centers around what our talk's about today is how are we going to try to automate this and make it a little bit easier on our developers and really get that DevOps mindset, remove as much friction as possible. So let's start out and talk a little bit where me and Ryan fit into State Farm. I'm actually it says engineering director. I'm also an architecture director. Just titles, we'll figure that out at some other point. But horizontal enablement for enterprise technology, that's really where I sit. My responsibilities are really the application development lifecycle at State Farm. I own the majority of developer tools and the experience around that. And I'm heavily involved with CI/CD practices and the different tools.
And I'm Ryan Chambers. I'm a technology engineer in the delivery lifecycle insights area. I focus on building solutions that help improve the overall delivery experience at State Farm. And I built the framework that we're going to talk about today to make all these events accessible to teams.
Yeah, and Ryan's one of those super engineers that can't figure anything out in very little time. So he is a great guy to work with, and I think he's a key piece to making what we're trying to do here successful. So let's talk a little bit about just the area. I want to give everyone some context about where we fit in at State Farm a little bit deeper. So I live in a suite called the Delivery Experience. That's what we've called ourselves. I've got about 10 products that sit underneath me, and our mission is to provide one cohesive ecosystem of developer tools and services to improve the experience of our product teams within enterprise technology. So this is a pretty cool mission because you actually get to go out, you try to solve problems for developers, you try to make their day-to-day life better. That's actually a really rewarding thing to do. I know, Ryan, you help a lot of developers, and I think it's pretty cool to see some of the stuff we're able to do. So, and we've been fortunate enough at State Farm that they've really supported that within our enterprise technology department. Our executives support it. So if you look at this picture, delivery experiences is our suite. We sit horizontally across these different business areas. And we're about a group of about 60 folks that provide support for developer tools and services. And what are those tools and services? Think about things like SCM, so GitLab. How do you build pipelines in Jenkins? Big investors in the CI runners that GitLab provides as well. GitOps. I would say we're doing some really cool stuff with GitOps. I have a whole product team around GitOps. And they're trying to enable it. And I recommend we have several people that have done talks on that this year. So same with security scanning tools. We took that over from our InfoSec department. That's been a big win for us because I think we bring a developer mindset to some of the security tools we've been trying to provide. open source, APIs, SDL best practices. So really, I think about it as just end-to-end developer tools. And our mission, just at the end of the day, is make everyone's lives a little bit easier and get people thinking about DevOps and how to work differently. So that's really got some questions, right? So does your developer experience look like this? Do you have cab gates used for governance of the SDLC, right? Do you have to go into a committee and have them look at your changes? They probably don't really understand what is in those changes, but they're rubber stamping it before you go to production. Is your proof of testing, is it manual? Do you have to put those in Word docs? Is it a test organization that has to fill it out and sign off on it, right? There's a lot of this, I think a lot of enterprises have this type of flow, or at least they used to, right? No visibility into potential bottlenecks in the SDLC. How long does it take to get a change to go out to production? Do you do that manually? Is there a way you can automatically do that, or is it just all manual and guesswork, right? And then just a myriad of tools and platforms to manage a change. How many people do you hand off to? Do you have a change area that has to sign off on things? How many tools do you have to hop through? Do you have to go into GitLab, ServiceNow, just various tools? That makes, I think, a pretty big headache for developers at the end of the day. So me and Ryan started talking, and this probably happened about beginning of 2020. Actually, I think we started having some discussions. We're like, let's think about what it looks like for a developer to get something out to production. And we start saying, a feature is a lot like a shopping list, right? You're gonna have some requirements. You're gonna do some coding, but then did you commit your code? Did you run a security scan? Did you unit test, integration test, system